Hey, Joe here. I've returned home from the shootout. I brought home an 8-second time slip. I had a little mishap if you watched my previous video, but all that's in the past now. It's time to get ready for FL2K at Bradenton Motorsports Park. I honestly can't believe how little damage there was to my car after going in the sand trap. It already looks pretty clean, thanks to Mark Gentile, driver of the Magnus Motorsports Buck-Ache drag car. While I was answering texts and phone calls from my friends and family, letting them know that I was okay, and cleaning out my drawers, Mark spent at least an hour blowing off all the dirt and gravel off my car with a cordless blower, grabbed a rag, cleaned everything out, took the intercooler pipe off my turbo here, blew my turbo out, make sure there was no gravel. He did let me know there is some dust and sand in the intercooler. So what I'm going to do is pull the intercooler off, pull the compressor cover off, and make sure that there's no debris in there. And that's just to get started. If you've been following along, you know that I had to get a custom brake setup done by Aerospace Components to fit the brakes under my 13-inch double beadlock wheels. They did that for me, but that setup still needed work. Since Aerospace Components is local to me, I was able to take my brakes off and bring them to them in St. Petersburg, Florida, and they set me up with a new kit I'm going to be installing right now. One change to this brake kit is that we've gone away from the oval piston calipers that Aerospace makes, and we've gone to these 4-piston calipers. The oval piston calipers fit easier, but we think these are going to work better. They're going to be a more rigid caliper because of those wide mounting ears. These are going to work better. We just needed a little bit of grinding on the spindle in order to fit the bracket with these wide ears. I'm amazed they can get this caliper to fit under those tiny wheels. There's that, and I'm ready to go do the other side. I'm going from this bracket, which was for the old oval piston caliper, to this bracket, which goes like this. And as you can see, there is a little bit of interference right here, a tiny bit right here, and right here. So I just got to grind that out a little bit, and this bracket will bolt right up, and I'll have my new calipers installed. Some light grinding completed. These little washer spacers here, and this bracket fits perfectly on there. Slides around, plenty of room. Bolt holes line up, ready to install this. Looks less milky than last time. I had a cylinder not firing on at least one hit on this oil, so it was not firing because of ignition, which means that cylinder was filling with fuel, and the amount of methanol in my catch can showed that. So probably a good amount of methanol got in the oil. I assume it mostly evaporates from there, but it does leave some cloudiness. It does break down the oil. This oil is definitely darker than the last time I changed it. Definitely less milky. I don't see anything out of the ordinary in there. This is the last of my VR1. I'll be now going to Schaefer's 2050. I got this from Aaron Gregory Racing. Good deal, hit him up. I'm just going to drain the transmission fluid in the same container, because all my other containers are in my trailer. I don't feel like emptying this one out and cleaning it again. So let's see what we can see coming out of the drain plug. This is the fluid I filtered and put back in, by the way. That's definitely a little dark. On my hand, it doesn't look that dark. Down here, it doesn't look that dark. Feels all right. we'll go ahead and put some fresh stuff in there. This makes me have to pee. Oh, what I meant to say is, I don't smell any of that burnt transmission smell that I have smelled before. I actually feel pretty good about this fluid coming out of here and the performance of my transmission at the shootout. You can see there's some sand in here, and I mean, some sand or whatever got in here because there's some dust and stuff in here. Doesn't look like anything heavy, but I got the intercooler unbolted, and I'm going to pull it out of here and vacuum it out and try to blow the sand out of it too. Yeah, there's some cleanup to do here. Nice. That's better. Much better. Now tackle this compressor cover clean out. Pretty tough to see up in there, but if you see that steel, braided stainless steel dash 3 AN line comes down from a Y fitting, goes under my steering shaft, and comes back up, there's a black sensor port there that has a 1600 psi odometer sensor in it that goes to the T that goes to my front brakes. This is to better keep an eye on how much brake pressure I'm using and whether or not it's too much for my caliper setup. I feel like my new brake setup isn't going to have any of the problems I had with the other setup, but having data on brake pressure will definitely help me keep an eye on it. I did a little bit of gravity bleeding here where I opened the bleeder and let it drip for a minute, and I vacuum bled this a bit, but I think I just want to go for the old-fashioned way and have somebody pump my brakes while I run the bleeder screw. Part of the damage caused here was to this lower quick latch. You know, you see they have the little studs there with the balls on the end that the buttons latch onto. Well, this one got broken off in the sand. So I just got to pull that out of there, and I have a replacement right there. Easy stuff. New brakes from Aerospace Components installed. Spacer installed. Got to put these wheels on. These wheels have been around for a while now, but I still think they look killer. And those brakes look great in there too. All right, let's see if I can get this bumper cover to go back on here. And there we go. Fits back on there. A little beat up. And the quick latch over here snapped right in, no problem. I'm gonna have to see what I can do about this. This does not want to cooperate. Like, it's okay right there, but when I let go of it, it separates. But you know what? I think it adds character. Made a little bit of room in the garage so I could move the car over and fit this fancy new pit vehicle I got here. The old Easy Go. It's going to push Brittany around at the track if necessary. I got a push bar kit I need to put together, and this thing will be set up to do some work. In the meantime, I'm going to pull this bumper cover and do something to it. Wow, this is hilariously bad. Oh well. I got the brakes bled, and what I've done is repurposed my nitrous pressure sensor as a brake pressure sensor for a couple reasons. One, to keep an eye on how much brake pressure I'm using, so that I can make sure that these new calipers are the right choice. And secondarily, I may start using it to launch the car instead of the brake light switch. The car will leave more on the light, better reaction times if I leave off brake pressure. So what you can see here is, if I stomp that pedal, I can pin that 1600 PSI sensor. But I'm feeling like 1200's about where I usually hold it. So we'll see how that works when I test it. Okay, so the brakes seem to test out okay here in the garage. I'm going to have to take the car for a spin around the block and make sure as I load it in the trailer, but I don't foresee any issues there. Got the wheels back on the car. I've started loading the trailer. As you can see, I'm pretty sweaty. Started loading the trailer up, getting ready to head out to FL2K, but that's another video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tick the bell, and always
put cheese on it.